Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Denver, Colorado. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. Today I have a really pretty soft color back to your stash card using Perennial Essence and also using stamp set Butterfly Wishes. Let's just get started. Okay, here is my card, and it is on a base of Highland Heather, and it has this pretty blue butterfly. I hope you can see the wink of Stella on the wings of the butterfly there as I move it around in the light. And it says, "Wishing you a lovely day," and the inside has another imprint of the butterfly and a little piece of ribbon and some cardstock. All right, so what we need to make this card is a Highland Heather base, which is 8.5 by 5.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4. Let me just give that a burnish. And then we need a piece of Balmy Blue. This piece is 5 1/4 by 4, and it is for the inside. Then I have a piece of Very Vanilla that is 3 3/4 by 5, and that's going to layer on the top for the inside of the card. Then I have a piece of this Perennial Essence beautiful rose paper with the soft flowers on it, and this piece is 4 1/2 by 3 inches. And then I have another piece of Balmy Blue to mat that, so that is 3 1/4 by 4 3/4, and that is what's going to go on the front. Now then, I have taken some of this seam binding ribbon, the white seam binding ribbon. Let me just see, what is it called exactly? It's called Crinkled Seam Binding Ribbon, and it is in Whisper White. And what I've done is I have used my Highland Heather light blend, and I have colored, I think it's about 25 inches of this ribbon ahead of time, because we need a piece to go across here, we need a piece to go across on the inside, and then I need a piece to make my bow. So that's probably more than I need, but I want to make sure I have at least enough. All right, then you also need a scrap of Whisper White to stamp your butterfly and cut it out. And so I'm using Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and I'm using Balmy Blue ink. So this is actually a very fast card. The only fussiness about this is fussy cutting out and adding the dimension to our little butterfly here. The stamp sets that I am using from the stash are Butterfly Wishes, and I'm using this butterfly right down here. And I am using Forever Lovely and Wishing You a Lovely Day. So again, looking back in our stash, this is paper that is not new. These are stamps that have been around for a while, and they're just a lot of fun. So I have my butterfly mounted here and my Lovely Day stamp, and I'm going to start by stamping my butterfly. And what I'm doing is I am stamping this butterfly on this piece of Whisper White, and I'm doing it twice. There's one, and there is the second one. Now, In order to get my butterfly articulated the way this one is, I cut out one of these butterflies, and I've got mine pre-done here, save a little bit of time on the video. And there is my first one, cut out everything including the antennae. So I have fussy cut out the whole butterfly. Then out of this butterfly, I have just cut away this first set of wings. And so that being done, then I need my pierce mat. And if you have a ball tool, that will work, but the back of a pokey tool will work just fine. The back of a pencil or a pen, there's any number of things that you can do this with. And we're just going to burnish this butterfly out a bit. And I want those wings on the outside of the full butterfly, the bottom wings, just pooched out. And there we go. Now I've got some dimension on those wings, and I'm going to just do that a bit more. It breaks down the fibers and then makes the butterfly stand out. So there we go. And then I'm going to do the same thing on these upper wings that I have cut away separately. And so I'm going to burnish those wings to get them to pooch out a bit. And there we go. I've got the dimension that I'd like to have on those wings. Now, in order to get this to do what I want it to, I'm going to use some mini dimensionals, and I'm going to put a set of mini dimensionals on the back side of this butterfly, right in those wings that I've pooched out. So one on each wing, so that those wings will fold, if you will, over that dimensional when I put it down on the card. Then on this one, I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to add a dimensional on each of these wings that we've already kind of pooched out, if you will. Let me move these things out of the way now. Now then, this second set of wings is just going to go on here, and I'm going to set it back a little bit from the body on this butterfly and get that put into place. And there we've got the dimension on our wings. I think you can see that. Now I'm going to take off the dimensional backs on these last two dimensionals, and that is going to be ready to go on to my card. But I'm not quite ready for it yet, so I'm going to set it on my silicone mat, because that won't stick to anything it's not supposed to. All right, now we have another bit of stamping to do on the inside of the card with that same butterfly. And what I did was I took a piece of scratch paper and I inked up my butterfly and I stamped it, and then I stamped it off again, and it's the third generation of the stamping that I ended up putting on my card. And it's just a faint representation of that butterfly, but very, very pretty. So, and you could choose to do it darker if you'd like. You know, that's almost too light for me. I think I'm going to do that again. So I'm going to stamp off once, stamp off a second time, and then the third time I'm going to set that butterfly right down here and give it a good press. And there we go. Now that's just a little bit darker on that side than that. And I think I like this one a little bit better. All right, so now this piece is ready to go on my piece for the inside. And so I'm just going to add some snail to the back of this one and get it placed and centered on my piece of Balmy Blue here on my card. There we go. All right. And then I'm going to take a piece of that ribbon and put it across these pieces here. And so I will need a little piece of that ribbon cut. And I'm going to add a little bit of snail. I think that's all we need the Balmy Blue for. So I'm going to put that away. And I'm going to add a little of my dot runner to the ribbon here. And set that ribbon in place right here along the edge of the inside of my card. Here we go. And then anchor that on the back side of that panel. Now, that piece is ready to go on the inside of my card. And I don't know about you, but I love the subtle colors in this Perennial Essence paper, and the blues and the purples were just speaking to me. So I'm going to go ahead and add my adhesive here and set that in place on the inside of my card. And there we have our inside complete. Okay, so next I need to do my stamping on my piece of designer series paper. Okay, so this is done with a photopolymer stamp. So I'm going to put this on my pierce mat, and I have my stamp mounted, and I've got my Memento ink, and I am going to ink this up. And let's see, I want this, my butterfly and my ribbon is going to go down here, so my wishing you a lovely day needs to go right up in here. And so I've got nice juicy ink pad here, and so I'm going to make every effort to put this on here and have it be straight, and give that ink a minute to sink into the paper. And there we go, we've got a beautiful image. All right. I think the secret to some of this is just making sure you've got enough ink on your ink pad. All right, so here we go. Now this piece is ready to be layered onto this piece. And so now I'm just going to add a little bit of snail on the back of my piece of designer series paper and get that set in place on my Balmy Blue matting piece here. Here we go. Then my butterfly is ready to go on here, and I'm going to set that down right about there. Then I'm going to take a piece of my ribbon And my ribbon needs to just go across this piece. So I'm going to add some snail, again using my dot runner for this, because I don't want a lot of heavy glue on the back of my ribbon, just enough to kind of hold it in place. And then we'll secure it on the back. All right, now this piece is going to go on right about here across the card, and then get itself secured to the back of our card. And there we go. All right, now in the piece of ribbon that I have left, I'm going to tie my bow and get that ready to go in place on my card. Trim my edges, and then put a glue dot or two on the back of my bow. And set that in place right down here on my card. I think I'm going to add a couple of extra glue dots on the back side of those loops, just to make sure that that bow doesn't move and is good and secure down here. Okay, there we go. All right, now I'm going to add my wink of Stella. I probably should have done this before I put this butterfly on my card, but I think it'll be fine. And so I'm going to put quite a bit of wink of Stella on my butterfly. I went over this several times because I wanted lots and lots and lots of shine on that pretty butterfly. Now, the other thing that I added on the body here was I added 3 of these champagne rhinestones. Plain rhinestones or pearls would all look just as pretty. So I'm going to put one of those, and they're almost tucked a little bit under the wings, and I think that adds to how different this one looks. There we go. And it kind of defines his body a little bit. And there we go. And you know, on this one, just to be a little different, I'm going to add a couple more of these rhinestones to the front of this card. There we go. All right. Just because I can. All right. So now I'm going to take this piece and I am going to add some snail to the back of my project here. I'm going to put a little extra on that ribbon to hold them down. And then I'm going to center this on the front of my card. I was just in the mood for something kind of soft and pretty, and I just love the way this came out. I'm really tickled with it. So there we go. That is my project for the day. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Or you could join my team. This is the last month of Sale-a-bration, where we have an absolutely fabulous join offer. About $185 worth of product for $99 to buy your starter kit. And you get the $125 worth of product the way you always do for $99, plus you get the little mini trimmer. Let me grab mine out so you can see it. I love this thing. The little mini trimmer, and then you get a sample pack of paper out of the mini catalog, and then one additional stamp set of your choice from the catalog. So, absolutely lovely offer. And let's see, this is February, so my prize draw for the month of February is the Honeybee Bundle out of the mini catalog. And all you have to do to put yourself in the drawing is place an order of any size on my website, www.ingenuity.com is my blog, and you can get to it that way. My store is lbedinger.stampinup.net. And that's it for me today. I'll be back soon. I have one more little video that's going to come up during the week here to talk about my online class, which is organized and ready to go for March. The deadline is March the 12th. And it's on my blog, www.ingenuity.com, and there's a little blurb that explains how the classes work, and the value for what you pay for the class is really very good. But I'll be back and explain the whole thing here in another day or so. So thanks again for stopping by, and I'll be back soon with more cards, more projects, and more tips. Bye.